Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Project Hexagon stream. You know, you typically don't expect to see anything but 6WC on the stream, but hello, we're back. In case you don't know us, we were the hosts of 6WC, and now we're here to give you an OWC World Cup Pick'em stream. My name is Gabby Crayola, and joining me in the voice channel is your lovely host of newer OWC casters. You know, we call us, I call myself, or we call ourselves the Budget Full Circle. Even though Haba needs to rush to a full circle meeting later, so thank you, FC. Anyways, a quick intro aside, my name is Gabby Crayola. You know, one of the casters. I'm a play-by-play caster, so you can expect loud shouting from me in the video. I'm joking. But on my right, you will be seeing Haba. So Haba, how you doing, man?
Hey, doing good. I am also a part of this new cast of OWC folk. I've done every World Cup this year. That's my credential for being here. I love predictions. I love making our beautiful players upset with my opinions. So good luck, everyone.
Sebi, go for it, man. Go for it, man.
Okay. What's the rush? I was mental prepping, man. Yeah. Hey, I'm Sebi. I go by Bern Castel online. And I'm also part of the new OWC group stage casters this year, which I'm extremely excited for. Oh, what's there to say about me? I think I know a lot about these people. I think I'm going to be able to make some pretty educated guesses and, banter with everybody, which is going to be interesting knowing some of these people and knowing their opinions on some of the matters. I'm looking at you, Haba. Other than that, there's not much to say. Let's move on. Stage, you can take it.
Yeah, man. I'm Stage. It's just really good to be here. Super excited, and I feel kind of lucky to be here and doing some group stage casting this year. Also here to discuss our Q4 shareholder results. No, I'm kidding. I thought it'd be funny to wear a suit. So yeah, I'm just very excited to get into this and just be here with all these wonderful people.
Oh, I guess that leaves me. So I'm Subaru Rima, also casted 3WC and 4WC this year, and newer recruit, also casting rookie for the group stage of OWC World Cup this year. And I'm also the French coach and analyst for the French OWC team, so people might know me for that. And so that automatically puts me on a line where I think some of my takes will differ with some of you guys, but I'm looking forward to that.
The one take that will differ is how well France will do.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. I mean, there are a few really exciting groups that we're gonna get ourselves into. A lot of demon OWC time killer groups in this entire group stage, so I'm definitely looking forward to see the hot takes come out. Get your clipping softwares ready. Get your screenshot stuff ready, because we're about to make some diabolical statements about your favorite players. But without further ado, let's not dilly-dally too much. Let's move into Group A. This group contains China, Norway, Austria, and Thailand. I think right before the stream we were talking a lot about how China was probably the strongest team in group stage, full stop. And for that reason, I think, me personally, you know, I'm already gonna put my first prediction on the board. I think it's an easy China makes it our first place, but I think the rest of the seats are very contested. You're looking at no more than a 4-seat differential from Norway and Austria, and then Austria and Thailand is simply a 3. Wait, is that also 4? Wait. Oh no, it is a 4-seat differential. Yeah, it is a 4-seat differential amongst all the other countries. So yeah, for that reason, you know, on paper, this is probably one of the closer groups that we are seeing. But at the same time, you can also make the argument, right? This is all the highest. I believe of their brackets, I don't know how to say it, of their selection brackets, they are like the highest possible seed from that bracket. And so for that reason, it's like this on paper is the strongest possible set of teams that we could have gotten. But I don't know, how about what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Right off the bat, does anyone disagree that China's not getting out here?
Does anyone?
Can we just lock that in now? Do we all agree
I think
for the overall?
I'll be saving that. Yeah, saving
We'll
my
all
spicy
agree there.
takes.
Oh, okay.
Groups. Actually, I think I get fourth. I'm sorry. My bad.
Okay. Well, for the sake of the overall, I feel like general consensus, beautiful China won. Now, for the spice, I think Austria makes it out over Norway here. That's my spice. I'm really high on this Austria roster this year. In 3WC, they ran the 3-man squad with Fedora, the Z9, Z10, and Defi was the 4th player there.
Yeah,
and they made it to
Defi.
finals. They went 4th place. And now what are they going to do with a full 8-person roster in the beautiful OWC? They lose Defi, but imagine the depth that they gain with the other 5 people now. So I'm really high on Austria. I'm really high on their consistency for this SR in comparison to a Norway, which has shown a little bit of inconsistencies on some of their mechanics roster, which is where I think Austria's strengths is going to lie with regards to breakpoints in that matchup. That's going to be the make or break. So personally, I'm putting Norway in the number 2. Or no, Austria in the number 2.
Damn.
I think that is a strong hot take, actually, to get us started.
Yeah. I think I've been thinking about this like for a long time, and as much as I would love to just slap Austria onto 2nd place, and as much as it breaks my heart to not do it, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Norway. I'm gonna go with the quote-unquote normie route, so to speak. I think Norway is just, I mean, they've always been a very solid team in OWC, and missing out on Zubs, very unfortunate. But missing out on Fjell, not so much with Penguinzi now getting into the team. I still think they are just incredibly well-rounded. You got players like, of course, I mean, let's not ignore the elephant in the room. You got people like Nidarik, you got big tournament names, Hunter, Yokspai, Melver, Paper Candle, Anthony W. All of these people, just incredible players. And I firmly believe that if Austria was in almost any other group, they would have like made it out definitely, 100%. But I don't think I can give it to them in this case.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to put Norway as my number 2. I mean, I'm kind of just looking at a comparison of their qualifier scores, and I see a lot of just picks for Norway that seem pretty dominant. And the qualifier pool is much higher SR compared to this pool, so upsets are definitely more likely. But I think, Norway just has a strong roster, and, I think Austria is a close 3rd for me.
Yeah, close 3rd. I definitely would second that, though. The Austrian team this year is probably the strongest Austrian team we've seen in quite a long time. I will, unfortunately for Hubba, agree with the popular opinion of Norway getting 2nd place. Also, a little added bit of context is that Norway is probably going to seek some redemption from last year, because China was actually the team to eliminate them last year, and not only that, it was on a sweep. So I think Norway are probably even going to want to give China a run for their money. So I could, on a bad day for China, even see a match where Norway takes it against China, but not very likely, I must say. And I want to second that Austria is very strong this year. I mean, Hubba mentioned the crazy run they had in three-digit World Cup. I would add that some of their players that did not make it in that tournament also are very good this year. We're looking at, for example, Tomadoy or Tepe Fenningirl, and of course their newcomer Fruit Cup is also very interesting for early stage. So it's kind of by default that I put Thailand 4th place in that group, because actually Thailand is a very strong team this year. They did lose Depi Force, which kind of hurts their hidden, but overall gaining some strong players. A return from Chaipuk Chep as well is very interesting. So I could also see a day where Thailand beats Austria in like a very close match, but I think the default order, and which is looking to be the most popular opinion, is what I'm going for.
Okay, I agree with almost everything you said, but I'm sorry, you cannot be saying that like as much as I love my Norwegian boys, you cannot be saying that they lose it that they win to China against China even on a bad day.
Mm.
Have you? What's your experience with Hippo Cup? Do you know about Hippo Cup China?
Yeah, no,
You know about Hippo Cup
I have
China?
seen I have seen Hippo Cup.
They will literally sign up as like 5 or 6 people and just completely stomp everybody in group stage at early bracket stage. All the top teams always lose against the Chinese team. It doesn't matter who you have on your team, man. They will come and they will destroy you.
Yeah, no,
So
China.
that's
I
an
think
undisputed China win.
Yeah,
So-
I think I will say something is I think China is the strongest team that is in the group stage by far. Like overall, if you look
Yeah.
at any of the groups,
Yeah.
I think China is the strongest team.
Yeah.
If China or if OWC was SV1, we'd have China as the winner every year. Those boys can combo game, let me tell you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so pretty much all agreeing except for Hubba with Austria second place.
My pickings are at stake, Haba. I love the root for the underdog, but my pickings are at stake. You know, we can't be.
I put them on my
trying to be-
pickums. I have full faith that they are on my pick'em list.
Honestly, dude. Like the thing about this Norway roster that really pushes me over the line. I think someone mentioned it in the seed review is that they basically have 2 large cannons on opposite ends of the skill set spectrum. Right? You have Neneric, arguably one of the best tournament speed players currently, and you have Yolkspy on the other hand. You know, who's just so incredibly strong on the gimmick. I think if anything, Norway will find a way to get guaranteed points on everyone seated below them and find some way to get a few points against Team China. Of course, I still think that matchup is gonna be really hard. I mean, I'm just gonna say I think that matchup is gonna be extremely exciting to watch, and I will be putting that on my calendar. But as of right now, I think the consensus is clear. China first, Norway second, with Austria and Thailand following behind. So I think with that said, I think it's a good place to move on. So let's go along to Group B. Wait, do I need... Okay, no, thank you, Mirage Fire. I love you, Mirage Fire. Group B. This group has Romania, New Zealand, Indonesia, and Finland. This is... I think when I was watching all the OWC staff doing their pick'ems, this is the one group where I didn't see, you know, a top 1-2 seeded team being predicted or being constantly predicted at the top. This is a very, very contentious group. And it's particularly because, you know, the seeds are kind of deceptive here. On one hand, you know, you have New Zealand, who was a country that, you know, nobody really expected to see this high. I think Dio put it very well, right? New Zealand, we all expected them to be good. How good was the question, and they were good. They emerged seed 16, you know, in the upper half of the seedings, and for that reason, you know, New Zealand's a real dark horse going into this tournament. But on the other hand, you have teams such as Indonesia, who has historically not been able to perform to their seed. Like, you know, we've seen in previous OWCs that despite having really, really hard hitters, aka Lifeline, they were just not able to continue that going into the bracket stage of the tournament. Alongside that, you know, we have Finland, a country that everybody has doubted before, but has made some huge waves this year, bringing freaking Kalan, dude. Like, already the name power from Finland is extremely hot on the iron. And of course, Romania is Romania. Like, come on, man, come on, freaking Kahest, Badu, Origin, Pregnancy. Like, what are we doing? But I don't know. I want to hear what you guys. I want to hear what you guys think before we move, you know, into the predictions. How about take it away, man?
Yeah, I am quite fond of this group, actually. I mean, I'm really high on this Finland roster. I'm really high on this New Zealand roster, moving up a number of seats in comparison to last year. The like constant growth that Ozzy, now known as Osbert, and Emilbus have had is just phenomenal. That New Zealand core is going to be one to be fearful of. And for that reason, I think I'm like New Zealand for sure gonna be making it out of here. And then my second spot is somewhere between Romania, Finland. I'm obviously I like my underdogs. I want to root for Finland, but this Romania roster like is maybe one of the best skill cap rosters in the tournament. I think they could make it quite far, and it's just a question of how consistent they are in this group stage. So for that reason, I'll be putting Finland above Romania, but I could see them really making a run here.
Okay.
Yeah, this group, man, it's like trying to like pick what's gonna happen in this group feels like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while wearing a straight jacket. It's actually like I have no idea what to do. I see so many possibilities for any of these teams to make it out or not. I think one of the for sure ones that I have that they're gonna make it out is Romania. I believe they're going to be making it out in first place this time around. And this is where the fun starts, because after this, I was like, what the hell am I going to pick here? And I thought about it, and I wanted to inherently put Indonesia second, but I do agree with the sentiment that they unfortunately have not been able to sort of live up to their actual skill levels. And Lifeline was mentioned, but I mean, every single one of these players is just absolutely incredible. Also in international tournaments, Hakui Koyori, which you might know as Ruto or Vino, that new guy, Lifeline, and GNX, the captain, formerly known as Dido, absolute powerhouse, incredible player. And I really want them to prove me wrong, and I really want Indonesia to make it, but I don't think they're going to do. So now it's between Finland and New Zealand. And I gotta say, I am not very, very versed when it comes to the New Zealand roster. I know Soku, I know Emilbus, I know Kyujin, and I know Osbert. Other than that, unfortunately, not very much info for me. But my personal pick here for second actually boiled down to Finland, because I really believe that this roster is going to be slept on a lot. You lose Desku, you lose people like Nev and Mayuri, but you get Allard, who, by the way, won the Finnish 1v1 tournament this year. You get Isak, Mike Tyson, also known as X-Peak. And that top name, their captain, Vadin Peukua, is that's AJJ. So, gonna be making a return. I just think this roster on paper just, I don't know. I think people are gonna underestimate them and then simply lose. But I'm gonna actually go with New Zealand fourth and Indonesia third.
Right, I might have a spicy take compared to the rest of y'all.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I think enough has been said about Romania, so I think I can just go ahead and lock that in. I don't have too much else to say that hasn't already been said. But I am heavily invested into Meijero McQueen. They have just been on a rampage lately. And I think, you know, they also have a Lifeline. So I think, you know, that you have two very, very strong players. And then I think the rest of their roster is also very balanced. And I think they have a lot of potential here in group stage, as well as potentially late stage. I think they have like high skill cap potential, as well as, you know, consistency on a lower SR pool. So I'm going to go ahead and put Indonesia in second for me. My third I have as Finland, followed by New Zealand, for, you know, some of the same reasons that have been mentioned. I think Finland does have kind of a slept on roster, but I do feel like, you know, again, it's such a toss up, but, you know, Indonesia and Finland, it's almost like a coin flip for me, but I think they have a very, you know, strong third place for me. And then New Zealand, again, I'm not super familiar with their roster, but you know, I think it'll be a good showing from them, but I just don't see them as higher than fourth for me.
All right.
Those are all interesting takes, and we don't really have, like, nobody's really fully agreeing with anybody else. I find it really
overall on this.
Yeah, like the overall is going to be messy for sure.
Bro, I hate you guys. I hate you guys.
So the first,
I think we know who number one is.
First thing I'm going to agree with is Romania topping the group. I think that's like the safest pick you can get, which is like still not that safe. I think Badu returning obviously is going to do some good for this roster, but like some other of these players have been really popping up this year. Thinking of like Ikehest, Origin. Like I think overall they have a pretty strong backing for Badu, and with that said, something could still happen to Romania in that group. I definitely don't think it's like an obvious first place like we had with China earlier. Now, regarding the three remaining teams, so first of all, I like to say that any of these three could make second place, in my opinion. It's going to be very close. With that said, I kind of don't trust Indonesia anymore. Like,
I've invested so much in this country.
I've been pretty vocal lately about how people always like bash France in predictions, and we'll get to that later. But then glaze Indonesia, and these past 4 years in OWC, like Indonesia has gotten the exact same results as France, which are like not very high. And with that said, also like I heard a lot of people mention Lifeline, but I don't think he's like their most like game changer player at this stage of the tournament because of how low the star rating is. I think some of the players like Dido or Hakui Kariori are going to be more like having heavier importance in their team scores overall. And also, I would like to second what was said about the rookies, especially Majiro McQueen, which is still an interesting addition. With that said, I think my pick for second place is close between the two, but I want to go for Finland.
Okay.
I've watched their national tournament and actually won the pick'ems for it, and I must say, gaining back their double winner in Alert in the roster is a huge addition for them, as well as Isaac, who had a really strong run in the tournament. It's a video as well. So overall, this roster is gaining a lot of consistency, which I saw a lot of very good scores in the early stage for them in this tournament, which definitely helps with being more familiar with the entire team as a whole. And I think I'm going to go New Zealand third place and Indonesia fourth. Not because I think that these two are like bad teams or anything. This group is very, very close, but you got to choose, and my money's on Finland for this one. Also, for New Zealand, they really had like one mod that was really strong in qualifiers, which was Hard Rock. And in the earlier stages of the tournament, I think I would tend to trust more teams that are kind of like wildcards, all-rounders, rather than teams that are like very strong in one skill set and weaker in others.
Yeah, but I think I tried my best with the overall predictions. I think the consensus is really clear that, you know, overall predictions, it might show Romania, Finland, New Zealand, Indonesia, but there is definitely I mean, we're putting the bottom seeded team of this group all the way in second. So, like, if that's any sort of indication for how crazy this group is gonna be, I don't know what else is. I mean, all I can say is good luck to good luck to whichever caster is taking this group. So, I think with that, I mean, any last words to say from the floor?
I will say one final thing.
Go for it.
Indonesia, I want you to shock me. This is the same 18 seed you just whipped out in 4WC and got 4th place on. Prove me wrong again. Make a demon run. Like, that 4WC run was like some of the most cinema I've seen in a World Cup. I want to see that again. Prove me wrong.
Don't remind me,
Honestly, yeah, it was beautiful, and we got to salute that performance from Indonesia, and maybe something like hope for a good run for them this year. Like we're like not all believing in them right now, but like really prove us wrong. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, 100%. But I think with that said, let's move on to our next group on the chopping block. It's gonna be Group C. This is hi Subaru. This is the group with Chile, France, Spain, and Italy. Not much to say from me in terms of assessment here. I think during my pick'ems, I was very basic with this one. I mostly just went Chile, France, just off the back of that name power. I know France, again, doesn't have their all-star, you know, perhaps question mark. Subaru is gonna call me out, but perhaps their best player of all time, Ekuro. But with that said, I think the rest of this French roster have so much name power. They have very, very good results across all their players, and with the addition Wait, yeah, with the addition of some new bloods, I definitely think that there is some new passion going into the French roster. I'm definitely looking forward to them. Chile, if we talk about name power, you can't say name power without Intercambing, right? Intercambing, one of the greatest players, one of the greatest players in terms of tournaments, and whatnot. So Chile is up there for me, number one. And to real quick run through the rest of the run through the other two countries, Spain and Italy. We're seeing very large roster switches from both of their countries, and I think it's very easy to say that they don't have the firepower that they brought onto the table last year, especially for Spain. I believe losing very hard hitters such as Antonio and Creator, and I think those are pretty hard hits to the Spanish roster. But I think in qualifiers they really proved us wrong, and it's always these lower seeded teams that go into the early rounds of the tournament absolutely swinging. That's where the money is, and that's where I think a lot of upsets are going to happen. But for me, at least, I unfortunately don't know too much about this roster to really make any sort of crazy judgment. So my prediction here is just going to be Chile, maybe Spain over France, but I'm going to put Chile, France, Spain, Italy as my ranking. What about you, Herbert?
Oh, hey, it's time for me to be a pository again. I think Italy makes it out of this group.
Oh my
Whoa.
bad, gang.
I'm very high on Italy this year. I'm
That is a
very
fair
high on
take.
Italy. I really like this Italy roster. I think they have a phenomenal hard rock, phenomenal speed mechanics, and Italy finally has reading for once in the hands of Knicks. Like, this is a very fun roster. They have a who's who of Italy Hall of Famers. I think Chile is more of a lock. I think it's Chile, Italy, and then France in the third, unfortunately. But France is more likely to beat Italy. It's just my heart speaking with Italy this year. I really like this Italy roster, and I want that to be known. But we'll bring that over. Italy in the number 2, Chile in the number 1, France in the third.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think like having Chile as our first, pretty obvious in my opinion. I don't think there's much discussion. I think other teams are going to be able to get a few points off of them, but I don't think that there's going to be any losses on the Chilean side. Now, how about you mentioned being a pository? I'm actually completely on your side.
Let's go.
As much as I like the new additions to the French roster and the comeback of Flaste, I'm mainly talking about Satsuki, by the way, because that guy is absolutely insane. A player that I feel like doesn't have the recognition he deserves compared to his skill level, because he completely beat the crap out of me in a tournament that I had to play in grand finals against him, which was well, as you can tell, pretty awful because he beat me. And I think he's going to be an absolutely incredible asset for France this year. I think they're super strong, way better than usual. Of course, losing Okoro and Justman Mize sucks. Losing Charlie Lee sucks. But I think France has done more than make up for their losses this year with the addition of Satsuki and the return of Laste. Jab White and Jordy Greep, previously known as Barbone, also going to be there to back up that speed roster. However, again, Italy is number 2 for me. I just love these people, man. Kirochi makes it back. Ryuzaki makes it back. Nyx comes in and helps out with the reading, as mentioned before. But this absolutely ridiculous core of Kirochi, Arj, who is Tokaiteo on the sheet, and the addition of Meows together with Kirochi is just going to be a hard to beat, very hard to beat core. Which is why I believe that they're going to pull through and make it out of the group. France going to be a very close third. I mean, it kind of sucks. It hurts either way. I don't think I can be happy with anything I pick in this group so far. But Italy, make me proud.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all in agreement on Chile. They have a very strong roster, and they have the least amount of swaps compared to the rest of the group. So I think they have more synergy, and they're just looking very strong. France for me is my second. I was a little bit concerned about some of the new additions like Jap White and Jordy Greep, but just because they didn't seem like super dominating forces, but I think they add I don't know, they just add a lot of a specific skill set that France needs. And yeah, I mean, I just think they're going to do great this year. I was worried about, how well-rounded the roster is, but, I think they're going to do just fine. For me, Italy is my third over Spain. I do really like this Italian roster, as others have said. And, it's again kind of a coin flip between Spain and Italy for me. But I think we're, going to have some very exciting matchups, and it's going to be very, very good to watch either way.
All right. Call me biased, but that's what I'm here for.
Oh,
We
there's
are
the
not.
number one. There's the
Putting
France number
France
one.
in bottom.
We are
Wait,
not
pause.
in agreement.
Hold
We are
up.
not in agreement about Chile.
Hold
France is topping that
up.
group.
Hold up.
I
Hold
mean,
up.
yeah.
I'm just putting France in the bottom real quick. One sec. One sec. Let me just,
Oh,
let
shit.
me
No,
just
that's
change
not right.
everybody
That's not right.
else's.
That's not right. All right.
Take a shot every time he says Spain.
This is the guy I was waiting for. This is why I put him last. This is why I put him last.
All right. So that's the bias out of the way. Now hear me out. So first of all, I will say that purely objectively speaking, I think Chile is the best group, the best team in this group, and most likely to win this group. Like I want France to make it to surprise everybody and to show that we are truly rebuilding this year, and putting the past where it belongs. I wanted to mention something real quick about Spain. Actually, is that they're in a very similar situation as us in France. Is that a lot of people have been talking about their losses in Antonio and Creator, but not a lot of people have been talking about their newcomers this year, who are very interesting tournament players. And that's kind of the same situation for France. I heard you mention Okoro and Justman, and I would hard disagree that Justman is a huge loss this year. Like, if you look at last year, he had an okay qualifiers run, and then literally did not play a single map against a match we lost to Philippines. Whereas we played Hard Rock maps in that match, which he definitely should have played, but his tapping was too rusty. So that, and presence of other players who were either lacking motivation or discipline. Overall, I want to be clear that I think that, in my humble opinion, this French roster literally 7-0s last year's. Like, it's not even close.
Oh,
And-
shoot.
And regarding that, I think it's a very similar story for Spain, where a lot of people focused on Antonio and Creator, which is unfortunate, losing those players who had been their carries for so many years. But I think it's getting a bit frustrating for them of like hearing nobody talking about their newcomers, whereas like they literally got their highest seeding ever, which has to count for something, right? So with that said, of course, I'm biased towards France being their coach, and I want them to do well. I will specify once again that I think, objectively speaking, Chile is the strongest team in this group, and it's not particularly close on paper. We mentioned intercamping, but Alfew also made a mad push this year to become one of those next main tournament players. And the rest of the team is so good. Like, they do have major losses, obviously, but once again, I want to focus on the now, and some of those additions, having played in like OWC, have tournament experience and early stage consistency. So Chile is definitely looking like a strong team. And for the rest of my group, I'm really having a hard time because I want both Spain and Italy to do well. Obviously, Hubba mentioned that Italy, with the gain of Nyx, has a second player for the reading now, which is a plus for them because it was kind of a lacking department for them. The Arch Kirochi duo is freaking terrifying in early stage, and they do have the team to back them up. So I think I would place Italy third, not too far over Spain, but honestly, I'm going full copium for France, but I'm not taking any of these matches lightly. I think all three of these teams has a chance of beating the French roster this year. So this is like me putting out my support for my boys, my team, and showing that I fully believe in the fact that we can surprise you guys this year.
Respect it.
Yeah. Respect. Man, this we were talking about how last group was gonna be the contested one. Dude, this group, what is even happening, bro? We have Italy just being everywhere. and then we have and then the random French number one. Like, okay, well, I think
Sorry about that. Sorry about
that. Once again, it just goes to show, right, how incredibly diverse the at least the how incredibly diverse the upper half of the group stage is, and we are just at Group C, so. I think does anybody else have anything to add before we move on to the last group of the uppers?
I have one thing.
Okay, let's go, Sammy.
Someone mentioned Alfio earlier. I just want to take this moment to absolutely glaze the living hell out of him. That guy, like you might look at Chile and be like, damn, they lost Matty, Nakura, and Suntan. Alfio is just like we have like Suntan, but like just reincarnated. He is absolutely goated, and I think he's going to destroy the group stage early. Like the early stage pools and everything. Trust me, this guy is absolutely insane. And I will die on this hill.
If I can add something real quick before we move on, I just like to remind everybody of the insane run USA had in 4WC this year, and then remind them of who was the only team that gave them a match.
Yes,
I can see that match was fun. That beautiful semis round.
That's the thinker.
Quarters.
Yeah, no.
That was quarters.
I would love to drop my 6 WC knowledge on this, but unfortunately I cannot comment. Anyways, I think with that's a good segue going into our next group, and it's gonna be Group D. Let's see what we have. It's gonna be Brazil, Philippines, Sweden, and the Netherlands. Oh my goodness!
That is the group of death.
Another group, honestly, Subaru, so many groups of deaths. Like, holy crap. Brazil through and through has always been such a consistent roster across the board. Sees 5 huge roster shifts this year, but I mean, roster shifts be damned. I mean, they're still incredible. Seed 11. On the other hand, you have Philippines. I think Philippines has always been the roster that has the most amount of injustice dealt to them. In 2023, they lost Hyuk and they lost Henry. This year, they lost Milk Tearsome and Imposter. But still, Philippines is still kicking. They are still the strong roster that we know them for. And for what it's worth, I believe the D-Ranker core that they brought in, Zany, Jitterish, perhaps, are incredible in the rank ranges that they originate from. And coming into OWC, especially during the earlier rounds, it's going to give them a lot of security, in my opinion. Sweden it's always one of those countries that, at least in my experience in the lower rank ranges, you don't really see them popping up much. But when OWC comes up, that core of players always strikes again, and they always strike hard. I'm looking at Fabian, Andros, Skylia as well, being the main name power coming in from the Swedish roster. So once again, it's another hard hitter. And Netherlands, the best collab, the best name collab, and then Dolta. I definitely see this team once again being relatively strong when it, as well as when you look at it from roster switches. Once again, a lot of team synergy gonna be packed into this Danish roster. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna let you guys speak a bit more. My Asian bias compels me to put Philippines in top 2, even though I kind of don't really want to, because when I guessed Brazil and Sweden as number 1 and number 2. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm in a similar boat, but different ways. I think.
Okay.
I'm really high on Philippines this year. I think that this, you called it like a D-Ranker squad of Zany, Jitterish, perhaps. I had the honor of being able to pool the Philippines Kaibigan Cup earlier this year, so I got to see a lot of these players firsthand. And Nathan Ram, unfortunately, unable to play that tournament playtesting moment. But the rest of these up and comers are phenomenal. They were able to play the baloney I was putting in their pools just fine, and they have proved their worth even more so in open rank tournaments recently. Zany, one of the best reading gets maybe of this OWC in terms of new rookies, will be such phenomenal gains for Philippines consistency. They are my lock for number 1 in this group. And the number 2 is a cluster. Because Sweden, Brazil, Netherlands, in my head, are really closely contested at this SR. They're also good at different things. Netherlands, the tech in this pool is going to be a dog walk for them. They are so phenomenal at the tech and alt stuff that they might be able to bust either Brazil or Sweden here. Sweden, though, keeping a lot of their same roster, bringing back Grippe over Yagako and Gaira is going to be great for their mechanics. My worry is on maybe like Feon and Andros with that roster in comparison to Brazil.
Really?
Actually, I might be switching my pickups live here because looking at that roster again, I think it's going to be Philippines 1, Brazil 2, Netherlands, then Sweden, unfortunately. Because I really like Scylla, I really like Mellum. I just think that maybe keeping some of those similar Swedish rosters is gonna be there's gonna be a little bit of ring rust there. There's gonna be a similar to like France last year situation, where with like your older rosters still sticking around. It might be a little bit underwhelming for Sweden this year. So I'm gonna run Philippines in the 1, Brazil in the 2 for my
Don't
pick'em.
talk about France last year, please.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. France much better this year.
Okay, I gotta say, I think the Netherlands gets an instant 4th place for having the absolute worst name collab I've ever seen.
Wow. Okay.
Worst?
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, he's right.
the only good name is Luciano's, who is Perth again, and everything else is just a
Oh
poser.
man, John Z.
Like they're just posers. I'm sorry.
Oh, not John Zenith.
I'm good. Listen, I'm good friends with a lot of these people. I hail Manivat, and so on, but I just cannot support this. Sometimes you just gotta like be honest to your friends and tell them they've done
This
wrong.
shit ain't it.
You know,
This ain't
hold an
it.
intervention, whatever it might be, whatever it takes. Guys, this ain't it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You heard it. If there's a KT G-Star custom this year, Sammy will not be cut. He'll just go silent.
Oh no,
Just
I
go
love
silent.
KDG3. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, he just hates the Netherlands.
I'm so you cannot tell me that John Efken is a good name or John Zenith.
John Breeze.
That's
John Breeze.
crazy.
That's just awful, man. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just cannot. Okay. Now this group is gonna feature a lot of bias from me, as you can already see by Netherlands being placed last, though I don't think they're like necessarily the worst team. However, I do believe that number 1 in this group is gonna be Brazil, because the additions they've made this year, compared to their losses, I think outweigh the gains or losses that other teams have experienced. Vitor Skull, incredible, very versatile player. Plays hidden, plays speed, plays hard rock, plays pretty much everything. Kind of struggling a bit on the low yard, but he's absolutely a jack of all trades. Gonna be an incredible support for Korean Maluko. And Nyash and Kurumi W, and I assume you pronounce it Schwick. Incredibly high skill cap mechanics players, really, really good on the speed, really good on the aim. They're gonna be shredding through this group stage, I believe. Philippines, I have to respect the fact that they ended up still being such an incredible team, regardless of being robbed every single year by just losing one of their key players. We talked about Henry, we talked about Hyok and Nukti, but I mean, they're still going strong. Ikarusi is just as good as he never was before. Zany is an incredible addition, as everybody else mentioned, him with Jitters and Perhaps. And dude, this Lord Gabriel person, he showed up in 3WC and absolutely carried on the DTs together with his teammates and made sure that they got all the points they needed, had a generational run, which is why it just hurts to put them in C3. And Sweden, in my opinion, just better on the low SR. And yeah, losing Yagako and Sipen, who was previously known as Spinks, I think that's a name that might ring a bell for a few that don't know him under this current name. Yeah, Grippa makes up for it absolutely with the tapping. You got Melwem, Andros, Trumpetino. I mean, Skilla, obviously the number 1 name you associate with Sweden. Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to see them make it out of groups. I just want to see Brazil. I just want to see Sweden. I think Brazil's the best team, and then the other ones are just unfortunate.
Valid. I going to be disagreeing with some people here. I am so heavily invested in Sweden. I'm not going to put them first, but I think they're a strong second to the Philippines. The Philippines roster is super, super strong. We've already talked about them quite a lot. And I think that just looking at a comparison between the Philippines and Brazil, the maps that Philippines won on in qualifiers, they absolutely dominated DT1 and DT2, and they dominated some of the less mechanics heavy picks, and were an extremely close second on Hard Rock 2 with a 140k difference on that. So I'm thinking that with the way this group stage pool is laid out, you have free mod and you don't see that in qualifiers. I think the Philippines and Sweden both benefit from this more than Brazil does. Also, looking at all of the picks that Brazil won over the Philippines, all of them were less than 1 million in difference. So I think that is very interesting. That's going to be Brazil in third for me personally, followed by the Netherlands, just kind of last by default for me. But this was a super hard group to predict. Phelan and Scylla are like the goats. They are so good, and I believe in them. You guys have my energy, so do a good job. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys play. Big shout out to those two at least.
Yeah, for this one, I think I'm gonna go from the way down to up. So start with the fourth place for me, and I don't want to say by default, but I think I'm gonna have to agree with Netherlands fourth place for this one. In this group, with every single team being so strong, I think Netherlands is kind of in an awkward position where they're gonna probably score points in every single one of their matches, but not win any of them because the other three teams are just so good, and have that extra player who can make the difference. And with that said, it's been really, really hard for me to decide. I really have been hesitant as I was working on my pick'ems, but unfortunately, because actually France has a lot of history with them, we played them, I believe, 3 times in recent OSU World Cups, and we played them in 4WC as well. With that said, I respect Sweden a lot, but I'm going to go Sweden third for this one. I think the roster changes are overall very positive for them. We did mention the addition of Grippe for added tapping, and their remaining players have gotten stronger this year. And the thing that makes me put them in third place is that I think that they function a lot like Philippines in the sense that they have one very, very strong standout player and have learned to build around them to build a very well-working team. And I think Philippines did that with Nathan Ram, but just a little bit better this year. With Zoneli's returning, Ramu, Ikarusi, they still have the players to back Nathan Ram on the gimmick, adding even Zani in those regards, so that is very strong addition. I am very happy that we mentioned Lord Gabriel because I was actually fortunate enough to cast one of their matches in the 3-digit World Cup. I believe it was the match against Poland, which they won on tiebreaker. And in that match, we saw perfect examples of why Lord Gabriel is so important as an addition this year. Losing Milkteism hurts, and I have for proof that last year Philippines were the team to eliminate France from the OSU World Cup. And if you look at the match cost for that match, 6 of the top 8 were French players, and you just had Nathan Ram and Milkteism destroying the match cost. Like, Milkteism was really one of those 2 carry players for them. However, with the additions of lower ranked players, we did mention Zani, I'd like to mention Perhap as well real quick. I think they have the added consistency for those early stages and those early pools. So I'm going to go Philippines second, and that leaves Brazil in first place. I originally wasn't too fond of some of those roster changes because of the losses. I'm thinking about Lehrman, for example. But with some added thought, I think that Brazil have been rebuilding for maybe the past 2 years now. Izzy last year as a rookie was extremely strong and only has gotten stronger, and Korean Malako is still here. And having Niosh this year is just such a huge addition, man. Like, I can't really underrate this roster. Like, Brazil is looking to me like one of the strongest teams in this group stage.
Yep. Stage is currently being taken away by the Brazilian cartel for his decision. So we hope that he'll be back safe. But man, how do I even rank this group? Like I was telling everyone, how do I even rank this group? I think the general consensus is that Brazil takes first. And then the next one, I think I want to say it's like Philippines as the second. I mean the overall prediction. Like what do you guys think should be the
Yeah,
overall consensus for us?
I mean, there are more people have Sweden as their second, so I think we should just go by numbers.
Oh yeah,
if we
there's
can.
three. There's three.
Yeah,
on
there's
Sweden, so maybe
three
Sweden.
second places for Sweden. I think it's on average a higher ranking for Sweden, so we should go Sweden second. Although, yeah, I definitely do disagree with Hubba on this one. Sweden fourth is like I don't see it.
That's just sacrilege, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's only because of the mechanics. I'm like the Sweden mechanics roster feels really shaky to me. Like still having Andros in the core for your mechanics, like it feels shaky. I don't really. I'm not fond of it.
I understand, and
Okay.
I mean, you can get right back at me by saying that you don't see France first in the other group. So it's
Now
all
you're making
good.
it
It's all good.
personal, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is gonna be our predictions for Group D, and with us finally finishing out the group, the first four groups, we move into the next four groups, which I believe is the lower portion of the group stage. Now, this is the stuff that I'm extremely interested in seeing, not just because it's a lot of underrated players, but it's also because this is the more volatile group. This is the group that matters because if you don't get top two, you're just out of the tournament instantly. So we're going to kick things off with the contenders. It's going to be Group E. Taiwan, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Denmark. The Asians plus Denmark. This roster, this roster features Malaysia and Denmark. I think Malaysia in the previous year was one of those rosters that really benefited from the overall reduction in rank range, or the expansion, might I say, of the rank range of OWC, bringing a lot of newer talents that were lower ranked in previous years and couldn't play. Malaysia coming in this year as their C33 alongside Denmark as C37s, the quote unquote new qualifiers of this year. But I mean, even with that said, you're looking at a group that sees both C32 and C33 with each other, right beside each other, and for that reason, I'm kind of torn. I hate Malaysia as the next Singaporean, so I gotta hate on my bros. I'm joking. I love you, Malaysia. So personally, I don't really know where I'd put Malaysia, frankly speaking. If anything, I would only put Malaysia over Vietnam just because I believe in, one, their low SR consistency, and two, their overall roster synergy. But thing about Vietnam is that they have a hydrogen bomb in Def who has only gotten better in previous years, right? So now what do you go for? Do you go for synergy or do you go for name power? But I'm gonna let that discussion sort of fester before I create a decision on my own. So but what is remaining for me, I think, is Taiwan gonna be seed 1. That's my personal opinion, but there is so much contention going into a group like this.
The Malaysia slander. Minus
Yeah,
10,000
Malaysia
ringgit
slander,
on
bro.
your
I'm
account.
like average Singaporean, bro. Average Singaporean mindset.
Yeah, I think. Well, spoiler alert: Malaysia beat Vietnam. We had that match this morning.
Okay. Epic.
So,
Epic games.
Malaysia has beaten
games.
Vietnam.
Epic
So I in my original pick'ems I did have Malaysia second anyway. I just thought that keeping a lot of the core was good here. No Head been working on his tournament game. A Hot Dog still a pretty solid mechanics player. The loss for Woohua is pretty devastating for their team, but I mean, this is a Malaysia roster. I'm very high on activity, and these are a lot of players that are still playing OSU. They're still very active on leaderboards, and it feels like the bare minimum. But remember Romania 3WC this year. It feels like bare minimum, but the Malaysia very active team did end up beating out Vietnam, so I'm going to be having Malaysia in the second, Vietnam in the third. Denmark, this is a team that I think could surprise me. I am high on a lot of these players. I am very good. bringing in Sidus at this SR is going to be phenomenal. Very consistent player, Sidus Snap. I played my first ever tournament with that guy back like 5 years ago when we were both six
Damn.
digits. So very happy to see him make the OWC roster, still active in play, and pull a number of badges to his name now. A very strong player there on the Denmark roster. So actually, matter of fact, I'm going to be doing Denmark in the 3rd, Vietnam in the 4th, Taiwan in the 1st, Malaysia 2nd.
Respectable. Well, yeah, you mentioned the match that was happening earlier today between Malaysia and Vietnam already. I actually picked Vietnam second. Honestly, I still stand by that. I remember seeing a tweet by Def on Twitter where he was like, yeah, damn, this OWC stuff is really, getting serious, and he's got his nerves like kind of inhibiting his skill. I mean, you can make that argument for everybody, of course. I would have still believed that on paper, Vietnam beats Malaysia. And I gotta stay true to my roots, even though they lost. I don't care. I do not care. I absolutely do not care. I'm gonna go with Vietnam second. I think Taiwan making it into the first slot is something that maybe everybody can agree on. Not too sure after considering how the rest of this prediction stream went. Yeah, I'm looking at you too. You know who you are.
Oh.
I'm looking at you too.
Oh.
Yeah. Hands where I can see him. Get away from the mouse. Okay. So, and by default, Malaysia goes 3rd, and Denmark is the last team for me. There's a bunch of names on the Danish team that you're very familiar with, very long-standing tournament players like Anvil, like Polle, like Autofister, who was previously known as Capburger. And even some more modern players like Sidus, and Sobu is the big one in my opinion. Currently the best player that the Danish team has, I believe. I'm actually very confident, but unfortunately just not enough. Whereas you have, look at Taiwan, they have 5 different players, 5 new players, this team. And you can argue there's losses of other long-standing tournament players, people like Imokora, people like Nekokami, some of their D rankers like Summer OUO, but just look at some of the people that came back. Spines Knight makes a return, one of the absolute OGs, one of the best 4-digit tournament players. Riser, do I even need to explain? Gao Hao also just messing up those higher rank range tournaments. And Shirosora also just incredible mechanics player. Great addition. So yeah, I think this is a given. Taiwan first, Vietnam second, Malaysia third, and you can argue between 2 and 3. I think there's less arguments to be made for Denmark, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Shout out Riser. That's the first thing I will say for this group. Shout out Riser. I think it's amazing to see him come back. And, I think some of the other, swaps from Taiwan, you see Meow Sun going and Summer OO going, but you have some really good people replacing them. And I'm feeling very good about this Taiwan roster. So they're my first pick. Normally when you look at so many swaps, you start to get a little bit concerned about the team synergy and, nerves and things like this. But you have some veterans coming back, so I don't really have that concern there. Second for me, I actually didn't lock in my pick'ems in time, so I kind of got spoiled. But, it's really a toss up between Vietnam and Malaysia. It's just kind of a coin flip. The main reason why I would vote Malaysia second is just for team synergy reasons. You don't have a lot of replacements. I'm of the opinion that the more synergy and consistency you have between your players, the better. So for that reason, mainly, I would just put Malaysia second. Vietnam, obviously a very close third for me. I'm honestly not familiar enough with the Denmark roster and the Vietnam roster to discern the nuances and whether Denmark is super likely to upset. But again, anything can happen, as we saw today. So yeah, that's kind of my lineup.
All right. Well, To get it out of the way, I obviously agree with Taiwan being first place in that group. That's a pretty obvious consensus here. You didn't mention the return of Riser, and I will hard second that because Riser is really part of that generation of players from Taiwan that were around when I discovered the game and watched my first World Cups. He was part of that core four with like Flask, Shield, and GFMRT back then, like back in the day. Those really are like the Taiwanese players I discovered the game with.
My heart. Those names just make my
And
head
like
burn every
seeing
time.
Riser back is so cool. I'm all up for the oldies coming back. But the rest of the team is so strong. We didn't really mention Willie that much, and he was the strongest player last year for Taiwan. And returning with stronger backing, you mentioned Spine's Knight returning. Someone we didn't really mention too much was Gao Hao, which is also, I would argue, one of their strongest additions for the group stage format at the very least. So yeah, I'm hard agreeing on Taiwan being first place in that group. We didn't mention the match that was played today, so Malaysia taking it over Vietnam. Sorry for the spoilers, obviously, but yeah, that was the first match of this OC World Cup, and it was a close one. Malaysia winning, I believe, 5-3.
Yeah.
And they were originally my pick for second place anyway, and that's what I went for in the pick'ems. And I obviously am going to stick to that now, but I will say something for Vietnam is that we did see today that their players could play the game really well. It's not just all about Def and, you know, that one player everybody's looking at because he's so freaking good at the game. It's like Def wasn't like perma 1 million, perma top scorer in the lobby. Like some of these other players from Vietnam were also having a pretty strong showing today, and I think that there still is a chance for Vietnam second place if they get it all together and Def keeps his nerves in check and they pull off the like upset of the century against Taiwan. And I would definitely love to see that from Vietnam, as it's their very first qualification in OC World Cup, unless I'm mistaken, but I believe it's their first time making it past the very first round. So I'm all in for the surprise. So even though I'm securing the third place for them, I would definitely do see a world where they pull the upset. And I would love to see that. I wasn't too sure at first because I generally don't favor teams that revolve around one player in the lower star rating format where you need a lot of team consistency and like versatility, but I think Vietnam showed that they could play the game very well today. So despite losing the match, I think there still is a shot for them, and that leaves Denmark for me in fourth place. Not a bad team at all. They have been through the group stage and have been through the qualifiers multiple times in their history. They were historically a pretty strong team. And I mean, the OGs will remember that Denmark had this 5-1 upset against Poland in 2018. Like that was pretty huge. So yeah, Denmark, a team with history, a team I think that is rebuilding, and I wish them to do well in this group despite putting them in fourth place. I definitely don't think they're a bad team by any means.
Yeah. I'm completely like, even though we have Malaysia in number 2 in overall predictions, bro, with Vietnam beating Malaysia just this morning, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, it's gonna be a rough one. It's gonna be a rough one, is all I'm saying. And that's the interesting part about the contenders, right? It's fighting for your tournament lives in the group stage. So, you know, we'll have to see how it goes. Any last words from the panel before we move on?
I think we're good.
All right, then. I think we're good. Let's move on to the next team of the contenders. It's going to be Group F. Here we go. It's going to be Turkey, Argentina, Uruguay, and Belgium. I'm going to be so for real, guys. When I was doing my pick'ems, I kind of just like put them in. I kind of just like I saw the seed sequence and I just put them in one by one. I, frankly speaking, do not know enough about any one of these guys in order to make a good judgment. And I think that speaks. I think I speak for a lot of the tournament scene where there's a lot we personally don't know. I believe this is Belgium's first time qualifying. This is Uruguay's second time qualifying into the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And you know, new faces in the World Cup is always something so interesting to see. But I think for me, one player stands out for, I think, a lot of the OC community. And that player is Raikoho. I think Raikoho is by far probably, no, not really by far. You know, I'm looking at some players from Belgium and whatnot, but I think Raikoho is pretty undisputed. I think the highest ranked player in this group overall and the main battery of this Turkish roster. But I'm not just saying that, you know, I mean, the rest of Turkey is very strong. You have players like Orke and whatnot, but I'm not gonna beat around the bush really, because a lot of it was just based off qualifiers. I'm just gonna go in for my original predictions, which just follows the seeding. I don't know. What about you, Haba? Maybe you have a more informed decision than I do. I think you do.
You did it accidentally. I did it intentionally. My list is the exact same, brother. Raikoho is like a top 3 player in my opinion. He's one of my favorites. I love that guy. And switching out Leary for Gainfoil. Sorry, Leary, but Gainfoil is like one of Turkey's only 3 digits. It's number 3 country rank, getting an even stronger Turkish roster after their upset Dark Horse run last year off the same seeding. I believe they got like 3 dubs last year in the main stage. So I'm very, very high on Turkey this year. That's a very clear number 1 in my heart. And Argentina, you just see them in like every 500 rank plus tournament. Like you see the Argentina squad just pull up with this roster and play open rank tournaments all the time. So the synergy is clearly there, and I think that at this SR, synergy and consistency is going to pale in comparison to some of these other rosters. Belgium, I'm proud of you. This was a qualification that we've been looking forward to for like a decade, is like the Belgium curse of not being able to qualify for OWC, but unfortunately I fear it ends with a qualification and a group stage. This is just a very demon group with that top 2, Turkey, Argentina.
All right, you guys don't know what you just unleashed, because
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
for those that don't know, I am half Turkish. So
Oh,
by default,
okay.
just by patriotism, if you so will, I will be putting them at the number 1 spot. Go Turkey!
Oh no! Okay.
Turkey, as they like to say. But I mean, the roster speaks for itself. Everybody always talks about Raiko. I mean, with good reason. He is the best player in Turkey. He has always been the best player in Turkey by far. Unmatched in any sort of mechanical skill, especially in this group. But please, for the love of God, I could speak hours and hours about the rest of his team. Shinkiro is such an incredible backup for anything technical, anything sort of gimmicky and awkward. Same with Orkai. It's actually pronounced Orkai, not Orkay.
Oh, my bad, G.
Yeah, I'm just saying, guys. He actually gets really sad when people do that.
No.
I mean, nobody knows it better. Nobody knows it better. But like, he's always like, my name's not Orkay. It's not pronounced Orkay. Liar, also incredible backup for Raiko, together with Clutch in the mechanics. And Spray, also somebody that has been, showing up more and more, which I'm really glad, because they just have incredible aim, incredible flow aim, really good on the technical skill sets, really, really good at like hacking sliders and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely number 1 for me, this group, Turkey. My boys are gonna make it to that losers bracket round of 16. And number 2, surprise, I'm following the seeding as well. It's gonna be Argentina for me.
Yeah.
And I absolutely find it incredible that, just like Haba mentioned, these people just, they're just homies. They just play tournaments. I feel like they will just approach OWC the same way they will literally approach any other tournament, just because they're like, oh, okay, there's a guys, there's a new tournament. Let's sign up. It looks pretty good, and then it just built their roster, and it's like, damn. Outside of that, they are pretty damn skilled, though. I mean, you got people like, you lose Richo, who for a while was the best player in Argentina, but my boy Tofi just simply clears when it comes to tapping. That guy is absolutely insane, and just getting better and better. Smash Kai, previously known as just Smash, or I'm sorry, what was it? Anyways,
pulling it up. We're pulling it up.
I'm pulling it out. I'm
We're
pulling
doing the
it
Pulling
out.
out the credentials. This is
My
important
bad.
information.
Okay, I'm sorry. I remembered him under a different name, but I kind of forgot.
I forgot
Bowmill.
him.
Yeah, Kagami. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Amuro, just the oldest man alive. Jack Zebra,
Okay.
no, who actually reverted his name and is now back to PP Poo 997.
That's my goat. I
Absolute
think.
goat. So, just incredible roster all around. Number 2 easily for me. Yeah, Uruguay again. You got the same people as usual, except this time around they actually revived an ancient fossil with Danit. For those of you that are a little newer,
That's
Danit
me.
used to be like the number one like mechanic Sky and everything, always playing in like super teams in the or not super teams but like really high seeding teams in open rank tournaments. You'd see him in like Corsays and whatever every time. Incredible. I don't know how he's doing nowadays, but I'm just excited to see his name return. Gonna be very interesting to see what Uruguay is going to be able to put up with this year, making it, in my opinion, into the 3rd place. And Belgium, I'm so proud of you. I'm so incredibly proud. You guys made it after years
Let's
and
go,
years.
Belgium.
Yes, absolutely. You have my full support. Whatever happens. I don't care if you make it out of the groups. I don't care if you lose and drop out. You made it, and that's all that counts. Do not listen to the haters. I love you. I love you.
So true. So true. I was looking to see, how can we be better than just going down the seating list? Or at least for me, how can I just not go down the seating list? I'm going down the seating list.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a very clear top 2.
I was looking at the score comparisons, and between Turkey and Argentina, all but one map had under a 500k score gap between the two. For Argentina versus Uruguay, 9 out of 11 of those picks were also under 500k difference. The only clear distinction that I saw was Uruguay versus Belgium, where I was kind of observing that Uruguay was kind of dominant on tapping, DT, finger control, and tech, and pretty much everything else was a toss-up. So this is one of 3 or 4 pretty impossible to predict groups. But for me, I will be following the rest of you and going down the list. It's just very close. It is so close.
It's fine. We have one more rage baiting.
Yeah. That's too much.
I mean, surprise us, Subaru.
Perfect. Belgium first.
All right, I'll pretend I didn't hear anything.
No, man.
So first of
say
all,
whatever you will. I respect your
first of
opinion.
all, ladies and gentlemen, we are all in agreement.
Whoa! Consensus. Watch us all be wrong. So
All
we're
right,
wrong, we're all wrong.
So I'm gonna go in order. A quick mention to Turkey because you guys have mentioned most of the things that I wanted to talk about. I will add that if you guys remember last year's France round of 32 match, you will know that I do know quite a lot about this roster now. So yeah, they're pretty good. They beat us 5-2 in the round of 32, so they had some of those insane early stage scores. I don't think Turkey are really gonna struggle making it out of the groups. I doubt they'll lose a match. I think they can lose a few points, but they're looking like the heavy favorites in this group for sure. I originally was hesitant between Argentina and Uruguay because of Donnet returning, as you mentioned earlier, Plox and Redbow forming this really strong core 3 players, but overall, I think Argentina just has the edge with the team consistency. Like, you didn't mention most of the names that are either returning or new this year. Pengo also returning after a hiatus was not really mentioned, but tournament veteran for their country. So yeah, I wanted to believe in Uruguay, but I think Argentina is a safe pick here. With that said, Uruguay is probably going to give them a solid run for their money, even though I don't think they can beat Turkey, and I think it'll be close against Argentina, and that leaves us with Belgium, which, once again, I want to second the congratulations for them qualifying. Finally, the change of format definitely benefiting them, but honestly, I'm just so happy for them. You look at this roster, you see names like Five Joshi and Hanori, who have been around since the last time Belgium made it in the bracket stage, which was all the way back in 2019. So it's been a long time, and Belgium have been waiting for this day where they would make it in the second stage of OWC. So a warm congratulations for them, and they do have strong players. We didn't mention Hanori, their everlasting veteran. He's kind of like the Belgian Musty, you know, like he's been around for so long, and he's still very good, you know. And then you got like the standout player in Hexy, obviously the highest ranked player in the country, if I'm not mistaken. Mornus also is very, very solid, very solid. I was gonna say addition, but he's not an addition actually. He's been around for a while now. So Mornus forming a core with the Belgian roster. I would like to see them win at least one match. I don't think it's that likely, but maybe against Uruguay, for example, they can make something happen on this lower star rating. Barely making it through qualifiers, and I'm unfortunately agreeing with everybody and putting him 4th place, but I really want this Belgian roster to surprise us.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks for itself, you know, it goes without saying. This is gonna be the overall predictions, I think. We've tried to squeeze this group out to death, but if the previous groups were the groups of death, this is the group where we don't really know, right? At the end of the day, there's a lot we don't know about Uruguay. There's a lot we don't know about Belgium. We don't know how they will perform in a setting where the SR is number 1 lower, and in a you know, in an actual match setting, because this is the first time Belgium qualified, second time Uruguay's qualified. Second time that they've made it in. We don't know how well they will fare going into a lower SR. We don't know if it's gonna be a toss-up at the end of the day. So I think that's gonna sum up what we have for Group F, and I believe we are moving on to our second to last, our penultimate group. It's gonna be Group G. Is that right? Is that Group G? Yeah, okay, that's right. I do know my alphabets. Group G, we have Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Portugal, and Peru. The main country that I want to mention here, Peru, took a lot of big hits going into this year's roster. I believe last year there was some like mysterious Peru multi-accounting shenanigans. I can't quite remember, but I mean they still have some of their hard hitters in Arnold. I mean you lose out on a lot of good players, you know, like K, I believe, or KTR. But you still have your K-Trick, yeah, that's right. But you still have Arnold, you know, you still have your ace in the hole. So I think Peru still, you know, managing to just about break in, but how well they'll do moving forward, I don't know. Portugal is also in the similar boat for me. I think you guys will be able to do a better job assessing their roster. But I want to switch over to our 2 Slavic countries here in Kazakhstan and Ukraine. First off, I have no idea what's happening with Kaminchik's PC. Do we have does anybody know? Does anybody here know what happened to it? Do we know if he's playing? Because
that looked like a CPU issue to me. He probably plays anyway with like some slight color discoloration. Hopefully, one would hope.
Okay. Yeah, but Kaminchik, in my opinion, one of the top players this year in 6WC full stop, has been improving at such an incredible pace, and even though the rest of the Kazakh roster might not be too well known, I think they do bring a good amount of experience to the table, or passable amount of experience to the table, to the point where I think even without Kaminchik, they'll be able to do good. Ukraine, on the other hand, the opposite happened. Ukraine lost Shari Tori. Shari Tori pulling a Hyuk, I believe, on the Ukrainian roster this year and moving to Poland, or flag changing to Poland. So unfortunately, we'll not be seeing Desjet, I believe, who was Desjet last year in this Ukrainian roster. Correct me if I'm wrong later on. And I think, gentlemen, the main point of contention going into this group is, who is the first? Is it Kazakhstan or is it Ukraine? And this answer differs a lot depending on how you interpret Kaminchik's PC breaking down or whatnot. So, I mean, how about take things away, man?
Ukraine gained so much stock, it's unreal.
Okay, let's hear it.
Am I crazy? Am I crazy? You lose Shari Tori, you lose Raf GPO, who love you, Raf, but you're not like, that's not a motivated player. I played with him in a couple open rank tournaments. He wasn't really showing up. Dench, Aptim, no one loves Apima. These are all players that were a part of that 2023 Dream Squad. Remember when they first started winning matches in the OWC? These were the
Yeah.
players. They're back. They're in top form. We finally have them. I think they take the number one, especially if this Common Sheik PC situation, like what's happening there, it beats me. It's gonna be Ukraine number one, and then in the two, it's probably Kaz, but also this Portugal roster, they gain some heat with Kenzel, with WhatsApp still being fairly active, Rafamat as well, still pulling out some pretty solid stops in 4-dig tournaments. I am fond of this Portuguese squad, but Peru, this is the D-ranker situation. That's a situation that personally affected some tournaments that I hosted. And that I don't see a world where they make it out, unfortunately. Losing K-Trick was a pretty big hit due to the multi-accounting thing, but it's going to be Ukraine in the 1 and probably Kaz in the 2, pending player arrival circumstances. I'll leave Zero Ice and Shuma to you guys, but like, please shout them out. Those players, oh my god.
Yeah, let's just go left to right then, and might as well start out with Zero Eyes, who I personally know to be an incredible speed player. Gonna be able to back up Kamensik really well. Of course, you got the usual names, Revexi, Turnafis, gonna be making it in. And I think Kazakhstan actually gets out of the group stage in this case, but in second place. I believe they're better than... I mean, I'll get to who they're better and worse against. Let's move on to Ukraine. I mean, I agree. I mean, of course, the loss of Sharitori and Raf GPO are unfortunate. Definitely the two biggest losses for the Ukrainian roster. But No One Loves is absolutely up there as well. They're incredibly good and just getting better at tournaments. And you just see Dench return and you just know Ukraine is up to something. You know these people have got some hidden plan, and I believe they're going to be able to, mess up a lot of the teams in the early stage bracket stage as well. Off the back of him and Roman Poma, previously known as Net Why Not, who is still, in my opinion, one of the most slept on players of all time. Just because of, I mean, have you seen this person's scores? Just go through their scores, man. You'll just, it's jaw-droppingly insane. And you would not expect this from like a, 4-digit player. So for me, Ukraine absolutely takes the cake, goes in first place, 100%. And as for the last two, I'm not sure. Portugal, I think I'm going to put Portugal third here, off the back of people that have already been mentioned before, Kenzel, WhatsApp, Rafamat. Kuronora, actually kind of interesting. That guy used to have a Luxembourg flag and then flag change to Portugal. Which is, well, when do you ever see a player from Luxembourg? I believe he flag changed after they denied him to play for Belgium in the last, 2 iterations, I believe. And Peru, I mean, you see a lot of different names, but given the circumstances under which this happened, you could literally argue that they've not made a single roster change. Of course, talking about the interesting multi-account mafia drama, everything like that, but
cinema, absolute cinema.
Yeah, absolute cinema. I'm not sure about this. I mean, I think I'm just gonna be boring and follow the seeding. I think Portugal is gonna make it out. I don't think that Arnold's skill and / skill cap is gonna be enough to carry Peru through the early stages or beat Portugal. And I think they just absolutely do not stand a chance against Kazakhstan or Ukraine. So for me, a clear 4th place.
Yeah, I was pretty much looking at just 2 comparisons between Kazakhstan and Ukraine and Portugal and Peru. Because I just think they're just very close together, and then there's a wide gap in the middle. So just looking at the results from this qualifier, it looks to me like Kazakhstan is extremely dominant, at least compared to Ukraine on most maps. So they're actually going to be my number one pick. Outside of the DT3, that's the only exception. Their fourth best score on DT3 was 75k. So I will just let that do the talking. I think it's less.
I think they win DT.
Yeah, well, DT3 was a very like weird map, so maybe that could mean Ukraine is going to take advantage of that with this pool. Since there might be less traditional maps going on. But anyway, yeah, I just think Kazakhstan wins the Ukraine match, and then for me versus with Portugal and Peru, I was seeing that Portugal was pretty dominant on like Nomad 2, both Hard Rocks and DT1. But outside of that, it's pretty much a toss-up. So I'm probably just gonna, put Portugal over Peru and just kind of follow the order because it's pretty much a toss-up. But the wins that they did have were pretty dominant.
Well, that is a hard one. Regarding the top two, I agree that there's a clear-cut top two in there. I think I'm going to agree with the majority and go for Ukraine in this one. Not much to add to what you guys have said about the Ukrainian roster this year. I think, once again, it's one of those cases where you want to focus on the losses of looking like, obviously, Sherry Tori and Rap JPO. But Dench returning is so huge. Like, he used to be their strongest player and probably still is this year regarding the absences. And Roman still being around is huge for them. And we did mention, to my liking, No One Loves also being a big addition, which I totally agree with. And I think overall they'll just have slightly more depth to take on this Kazakhstan roster, despite Kazakhstan having undisputedly the best player of like both teams combined. Sorry. With that said, I think Kazakhstan has really done some job to build a team around Kamenchik this year. And the returning players are still very good. The rookies are very interesting players. So I definitely see a world in which Kazakhstan can take this. It's a very close second place for me. And then I think I'm going to be the only one to do this, but I actually am going to put Peru in third place this year. I think that they have really interesting new players, and we did mention the D-ranker roster on their side. Migas and Prob returning are still a solid backing in early stage, especially with the low star rating of this group stage map pool. And Arnold especially is not one of those cases of like a skill cap player who's going to fumble on early stage. Like Arnold is going to FC every single map. Like he has this consistency, this tournament experience. Arnold is amazing. Like France played Peru last year in the loser bracket in the round of 16, and we were like they scored points against us. And I mean, granted we were missing 2 players because screw that French team last year, man. But still, like Peru had a really strong showing on early stage, and I think Arnold being the difference maker is going to work for them versus Portugal. With that said, once again, I think it's a very close matchup between both of these teams, and I'm really happy to see Portugal finally make it in the second stage of OWC because they were really close to qualifying a couple of years. I think the closest they've gotten was 2020, where they were C33, which is like the most heartbreaking thing ever. So despite me putting Portugal in 4th place, I would really like to see them proving me wrong and getting a match, getting points against the top teams. So good luck to Portugal. Good luck to every single team in that group. And yeah, if that's all there is to say about this group, now we're going to reach the danger zone.
Oh my goodness. I'm just going to real quick, do my job because I completely forgot to do so. I was too busy listening. But here's the overall rankings. I think general consensus is that it follows, although the last 2 people, being a bit of a contrarian. But I think with that said, we can move over to our final group. Habba's taking out the soup for this one. We're locking in because
hot here.
Oh no!
It's been very boring in the lower side of the it's been very boring in the lower side of the group stage until now. Diabolical group. First up, Hong Kong is seed 40. Second up, Greece is here. Third, Singapore gets fourth. One sec. Yep. You don't worry, I already have that pre-move. And Japan is Japan's just here to join the fray. This group is such a demon group across the board. I believe Singapore, me personally, being the D1 hater of my own country, this is a roster that has so much built-in synergy with each other. You're seeing long-time returnees such as GS Blank, Dongwin, Tabby, and somewhat Qshunaut, and then you're seeing your slightly newer bloods in Eagle, and Qshunaut sort of sits in that ballpark. And then you're gonna see the return of players such as Mikhail and Holonies, who are sort of the new gen. Holonies is from 5WC, but Mikhail has always been that consistent player through and brought in for the Singaporean mechanics roster. I think it rounds off to be a very, very solid roster across the board, despite them, falling off in the seeding a little bit, seed 31. I still do think that at a lower SR, Singapore is really gonna bring the consistency to the table. Frankly speaking, I don't see a world where Singapore doesn't make it doesn't at least win a few matches, doesn't at least hit that top 2 threshold. But then again, you avert your eyes to the right side of the screen, and you're looking at demoniacal players, demoniacal countries. Hong Kong is the biggest red flag over there. Despite losing a lot of their roster, I think the rest of you can sort of fill in the gaps for me here, and really talk about what this Hong Kong roster has gained. Because despite the fact that Hong Kong is C40, they're freaking Hong Kong. Like, it's freaking Hong Kong, through and through, one of the most consistent countries in OWC history. The only question is, will they be able to pull that in with a completely new cast of players? And of course, Greece, I love Greece. I got Greece bias. If I could, I would put them at number 1 just because of Jackpacks. That guy is so freaking funny. And of course, Japan, the last one, the last one that we haven't talked about. Japan. There's a lot I don't know about Japan personally. There's a lot I don't know about these teams personally. But Japan as a roster is always once again, similar to Hong Kong in previous years, is always extremely consistent. And I think bringing in a new cast of players gives us a lot more of an interesting roster to watch across the board, right? Questions can be raised about Japan's team synergy, but you ask those same questions about Hong Kong. And for that reason, I've been going around in circles a lot. I've been kind of just yapping around. But, oh my goodness, I don't know, man. I don't know. Do I want to put my country in top 2? Do I want to go the Subaru route and bias my country through the group stage? It's a tough ask. It's a tough ask. I think I'm going to hold...
It's fun.
Okay, fine. Frick you. Alright, I'm putting Singapore at least number 2. I'm gonna put that in first. I'm gonna let you guys talk a bit, particularly about Greece and Hong Kong, before I make a more educated guess.
I'm not ready to move on. You had Singapore last?
No, I'm joking. I hate this Singapore
started a war.
My main bit. Singapore roster is good apart from Holonies. Yeah, I love you, Holonies.
Okay.
Take it away.
I think about Singapore. You keep on talking about demon players. These demon players. Let's talk about the demon player. Where is Demonical? Bring him back. Singapore, God. We need.
Bro, what I'm saying, he broke his arm or something.
He broke
yes,
that's crazy.
issues.
Well, we need that guy back. But I think the Singapore roster is very good, bringing Sai Mango on. One of the Singapore mechanics standouts. Going to be solid for some hidden, some flow aim. Solid replacement for Wick. It's a direct correlation, just more skill cap. And other than that, it's the same Singapore roster you know and love. Qshunaut been way more active in recent times than previous years. Tebby still going strong. GS Blank, I'd like to see a little more activity out of him, but he's always been a consistent player. He's always been one of the guys to look out for on the Singaporean squad. It's hard to say no to this qualification for Singapore. I'm going to be putting them in the 2. And the question is actually, no. I'm putting them in the 1, actually. Because the question is Hong Kong consistency. It's Hong Kong consistency, right? Like, this Japan roster, year over year, it's just like a very similar, samey talent pool. They're very good at aim, and the fall off from there is just kind of like, a little inconsistent everywhere else. I feel like because of that inconsistency, a pool like this, it's gonna be hard to put Japan qualifying. I could see it happen over Hong Kong if Hong Kong finds that consistency woes. We saw their number 40 seed. That wasn't intentional. Misha just had like one of the worst Osu days he's had in, I don't know, 2 years. Like, it's just a very weird thing. And bringing F2X onto the squad is great, but you lose the GOATs in Max Birio, MCY4, Tommy. That was the core. You lose your entire core on Hong Kong. So actually, it's going to be Singapore 1, Japan 2, Hong Kong, Greece. This Greece roster, it's just fourth man syndrome, I fear. Puyu Jackpack's very good. Naked, very good. It's just filling out, the rounding out the skill sets is a little tough. Very high on them. Very happy they qualified. Very proud of those players. But it's gonna be Japan in the 2 for me.
Right, let's see.
Interesting.
He's deep in thought.
Deep in thought.
Yeah, I was a bit very worried that you were gonna be serious about that Singapore slander. Nah, I mean, there's not a single word. Like I've seen people not pick Singapore in their top 2 for this group, and I'm like, I'm jealous of what they smoke, man. Like there's gotta be some intense stuff. There's gotta be some intense stuff. Of course, not if they're Singaporean because it's illegal. But yeah, easily making it out of the group. And in my opinion, Singapore going to be accompanied by Hong Kong. I just think it sucks to have to say this, man, but I think Japan just fell off. Like, they look at all the players that they've lost. So many incredible players. They lost their best player in Tichi. They lost some incredible lowest R support in Stonebrain, Rikui Masavakan, and of course one of their long-standing players, the +1. I forgot his previous name. Iger, yeah. Not making it, not playing this time around. Only people staying around from the previous roster: Yama Darkness, who is A Blue, who you actually might recognize for some of his maps rather than his gameplay, nowadays at least. Haga, who doesn't need an introduction, and Altolin, who in my opinion also doesn't need an introduction. I was gonna actually put Singapore in second place. I think I'm gonna put him in first place. Follow him up with Hong Kong.
hater.
No, I'm sorry. I love Singapore too much. I've been there. I've seen everything. Beautiful country, beautiful team. I think they're making it out. And then, as for the next team, as much as I just criticize Japan, I'm so sorry, Greece. I'm so sorry. I don't think you're making it. I don't think you're gonna be beating them. No, listen, it's a strat. Because like Jackface is gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and Puyu's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and then they're gonna pop off. Yeah, no, dude. Okay, there is no. Okay, so,
He's reading chat.
yeah, I'm reading the chat. For those who don't know, there's like a cultural rivalry between Greek people and Turkish people. Pretty much anything that is prevalent in both cultures. Each side claims they were the creators, and then everything just kind of messes up. Hey,
history lesson.
A lot of my family members have been there. I'm pretty sure it's a great country. I'm so sorry. But,
he's like cushioning the blow. I can hear Sebi like cushioning the blow.
Man, I'm just trying to do some like damage control here, man. Like, look, I'm immediately being hit with accusations in the chat. Like, what am I supposed to do? Oh man.
I'm glad I'm not reading chat right now.
But yeah.
Peace.
That's gonna be it for me. Singapore 1, Hong Kong 2, Japan 3, Greece 4th.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are. I honestly really agree with what you were saying about Japan's roster. They are losing a lot of low SR support, and that does hurt them in group stage. Shout out Stone Bream. Unfortunately, they will be missed. But I'm also excited to see what they can do for us this time around. And for Singapore, I think they're looking very, very strong. And honestly, Singapore versus Japan, like those are my top 2, but I think it's still kind of a toss-up. I mean, Japan looked pretty solid on DT2, Hard Rock 1, No Mod 1 from qualifiers, but honestly, most everything else was kind of a toss-up, maybe besides one or two picks. And so, yeah, I mean, I think those are the two that are going to make it out, but it's really unclear which will come in first. And then for Greece and Hong Kong, again, that one is even more of a toss-up. Every single map from qualifiers was less than 500k score difference from what I could see, maybe besides one. So it's just, yeah, it's so hard to predict. I think some maps were also like less than maybe 20 or 30k. I would need to look again, but it was just such a toss-up. So I'll be putting Greece in third. You know, they have the seed buff and they have kind of, I mean, some more consistency perhaps, but it's just a toss-up. So that is it for me.
Yeah, honestly, this group is really hard to predict, and it kind of breaks my heart to see this group because we literally have two of the historical Big Five Asian teams, as like Hong Kong and Japan have been really for the major part of the history of this tournament. Part of those five really huge Asian teams alongside South Korea, Taiwan, and China, and now they're like both of them fighting for a spot even in the bracket and group stage, and that kind of hurts to see. Hopefully, those two countries get to rebuild in the following years and bring us like rosters kind of like back to life and back to their former forms. With that said, first of all, regarding Japan, I would like to correct a slight misinformation. YMD is not Yamak Darkness.
Oh wait,
so it's not
yeah, that's
Blue.
Artenshi. I forgot.
Yeah, YMD is the
bad.
rename.
I thought it was
of
Yama Darkness as well, actually. Yeah, I thought YMD was Yama Darkness.
Yeah, no, my bad.
So-
It's Artenshi or
Yeah, and
Ryoshi.
that's actually good for them because they have been like one of their more active players in tournaments. So it's still like a pretty solid core for Japan. So let's get the quote-unquote obvious, because it's not that obvious, but the easiest for me is number one, I think, is going to be Singapore in this group. Singapore bringing back most of their strong players, only one roster change, which actually is an interesting one for them this year. The everlasting GS Blank veteran, of course. Don Wing also kind of locking in more. Tebi is still very solid. Cristiano has gotten better this year, so I have little doubts that Singapore will make it out of this group and make it out in first place. Maybe not win all three of their matches, but at least like do okay in all of them. And for second place, I still want to trust the seeding a little bit more, and I'm going to go for Japan. It's close. It's definitely close, but I do believe that Japan will find the team consistency in those early stage pools, as most of these players have played their national tournaments and ranked okay in it. And it's kind of weird to see like those losses, as they have played their nationals this year and are not playing, like Iger, Tichi. Tichi is obviously the biggest loss in this team. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to predict, but I want to go for Japan second. And I'm gonna join stage here and go Greece third. Actually, I will not stand to see Greece fourth in this group. I want them to see. I want to see them fight through at least one match. And honestly, with this roster, Jackpacks finally have some backing with this team, Puyo most notably. And honestly, yeah, like Hong Kong, you know, historically, I would never want to doubt them in group stage. Like those who know will know what I'm talking about. But Hong Kong, man, they just like lost all of their carry players, and I could hear that Misha had a bad day in qualifiers, but that doesn't justify like the entire jump from literally the biggest seeding change from one year to another we've ever seen in the history of the World Cup is from seed 8 to 40 from last year to this year for Hong Kong. Like that's crazy, going from a top 8 seeding all the way down to like maybe not like a borderline not qualifying is insane to me, and I unfortunately have lost a bit of my trust in Hong Kong for this year because of that. And I do hope they find their footing and find a way to make it through group stage. But Greece qualifying is hyping me, and Hong Kong is really scaring me with those inconsistencies. So I had to pick, and that's what I'm picking.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna do a quick fill on the. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think the overall consensus here is that Singapore, I'm the only one who's a Singapore hater. So, I'm like to the Singaporean team, if you guys are watching this, guys, you better lock in, okay? I better see 3-0 from you guys. I'm looking at you, Holonies. I'm gonna do diabolical things if you throw during match, alright? I'm watching you guys, huh? You better watch out. Okay, anyways, yeah, so looks like Singapore, the undisputed #1 team in the group. Looking forward to see how they do overall. And I think the big question is, will Japan be able to pull through with a, I wouldn't say completely weakened, but a slightly weaker roster, especially given the loss of their ace in the hole in previous years, Chi. But yeah, I think with that, I mean, any last words from the panel before we? I think that's it. I think that's it. We're done.
Not quite.
Oh, I mean, not done.
No,
There you go.
well, you're done with groups. I just wanted to speak on Japan real quick.
Oh, okay, go for it.
I think this Japan roster, their only problem is people not knowing them. Like these players, they don't really play open rank tournaments like that, or Hamata and Rafuna, like these are players that are very strong in their niches. They have a phenomenal Hard Rock roster this year, which is where Japan has lacked year over year ever since they lost to our Valiant like a few years back. Their Hard Rock roster is very strong this year. They have like a proper aim specialist, which is something I'm always hyped to see on an OWC team. You gotta have an aim specialist. They have Hosan this year. Very strong aim player there, very consistent on your 1 slots. Furamon, Chopin Pond, gonna be your alt players, gonna be filling your hiddens. They have not a core, but they have so many specialists that are really going to just lock it in and on their slots that I think Japan, while there may be a little bit of just knowledge diff, I'm excited to see them play, and hopefully they won't get, due to their lack of tournament experience, they won't get super nerfed by OWC nerfs. But as players, very strong, very excited to see what they can do. That's why I have them in qualifying.
Yeah, I can relate to rebuilding teams being more of a wild card slot in their groups. I feel like this is kind of France this year, and Japan to a similar, different scale obviously, but still they're rebuilding, changing a lot of players. So I definitely second Hub on that, and that's why I had them qualifying.
Yeah, but I think that's it. I think that's it from the entire panel. I think we can close things off. A lot of yapping done. A lot of good assertions being made by our entire panel, not me. But I urge everybody. I urge everybody watching this stream to keep tabs on group stage. There's a lot of enigma surrounding group stage. Oh, it's just Pislow SR. Oh, it's just gonna be a coin toss. But I think given the nature of the volatility of group stage, there are going to be a lot of narratives that can be derived. There is going to be a lot of upsets. That's gonna be hopefully less sweeps, as Dio mentions. So yeah, stay tuned for what is to come with what we have prepared for you. I believe this weekend we have a whole host of maps, matches lined up for you. Let me just do a quick count. I believe you have 22 matches lined up for you on both the OWC Live and OWC Live 2 streams. So you guys know where to check us out. In particular, I'm definitely looking forward to a few matches, across the board, but you guys will have to wait and see. We've already seen a absolute banger of an opening match in Vietnam and Malaysia, and I think if that's any indication for what's to come with this year's World Cup group stage, I don't know what else is. But yeah, any final words from our panel before we go? Any last shouts? Who are you rooting for? Who is your big take? Who's your big hot take?
Italy run. Italy make the run.
I think
France.
Greece, please, bro. Greece, please. But jokes aside, with that said, my name has been Gami Crayola. Huge shouts to my entire panel, Haba Waba, Stage, Subaru, Amiya, and of course the Dash Semi. Huge shouts as well to our lovely Sheeta for this sheet. We all love Shadeus, Thank you so much, Shadeus. I love you, Shadeus. As well as our streamer. In case if you guys aren't frequents of the Project Hexagon channel, Mirage Fire might not be a very familiar name to you, but huge shout outs to Mirage Fire for being my lovely streamer for this. So I don't have to do all the heavy lifting. But yeah, I think with that, we can wrap things off. This has been the Project Hexagon OWC World Cup 2025 group stage prediction stream. And stick around, I believe Full Circle Hubba, you're gonna be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm double dutying today.
He's working overtime. He looks like the
Overtime.
working man.
He's gonna be
Good luck,
working
man.
overtime. Full Circle is gonna have their very own stream. It's probably gonna be better than ours, anyways, because the 6WC hosts. But yeah, do hop on over there if you want to see a different host of opinions minus Hubba. But yeah, I think we can round things off. So you've been watching Project Hexagon, and we will see you when we do. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
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 Oh wait, can you see it?